And welcome back, everyone. I am finally home. The Austrian training camp is done, and now I finally wanted to give you a sort of a closure video on the FIDE Grand Swiss. It has already finished a couple of days ago, but I wanted to give you my thoughts on what happened in the finale. As probably all of you have seen already, Anish Giri did win the event in the very end, and the other person to qualify, probably quite surprisingly to many people, was the German Grandmaster Matthias Blübaum, who deserved it. We're already coming to my opinion. I think that anyone who finishes in the top two in the very end deserves the candidate spot because the tournament is extremely tough. And if you do finish with such a high score, you did deserve it. But of course, there are also other players that, in my opinion, did deserve it. I think the person I feel most empathy with is Vincent Keimer, who lost this super painful game in the penultimate round against Matthias Blübaum, who then finished second. And also in the last round against Arjun Erigaisi, Vincent played a very interesting idea in the opening with the black pieces and got a very promising position against Arjun Erigaisi. Unfortunately, wasn't able to win in the very end. But so that's why I feel quite bad for Vincent, who really played a fantastic event and would have really deserved to qualify to the candidates as well. But in the very end, it was Anish Giri and Matthias Blübaum. And it's going to be super interesting to see, especially Matthias, compete in the candidates, because most likely he's going to be the last seed. But compared to the last candidates tournament where Nijat Abbasov was playing, I think that this time it's a bit of a closer gap than with Abbasov, who also who qualified deservedly through the World Cup last time and finished third, if I'm not incorrect. But this time Matthias is now already close to 2,700 and is going to be a good competition for the other players in the candidates. Of course, he's going to be the underdog most likely, but as we've seen how he performed in this tournament, he's very solid and pretty hard to beat from both sides, extremely well prepared. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him in action in the next candidates tournament. Of course, Anish is an established guest at the candidates tournament as well. So that's going to be nice to see as well, especially with his good opening preparation and nice strategic play. I really enjoyed his last game against Hans Niemann in the FIDE Grand Swiss, where he played a nice strategic game with the white pieces and won fairly easily. I can also guess that quite a few Hans fans are going to be pretty upset because he was also playing in the front of the event for most of the time, and in the very end just lost the only game in the whole tournament because he was playing so solidly and consistently in the event that I didn't really expect that in the last round, especially that he already played so many games against Anish and has a pretty decent score overall considering the matches they've played. But yeah, those are my thoughts overall. It was also cool to see that so many people of you have responded to my previous video about Gukesh's performance, who made a comeback in the very end, which was nice to see. I think he made like 2 out of 2 or even 3 out of 3 in the last final games, which was great to see because, I mean, he had 3 losses in a row and then some draws against much lower rated opponents. So it was cool to see that he was able to come back in the very end, and I'm quite sure that he's going to recover from this pretty soon, just because, as I've said in the previous video, he is the type of person to just always being open to learn something new and just to use these bad tournaments for experience and then to work on himself on the things that didn't go his way. But apart from that, maybe some final thoughts on the event. It was super exciting to see the games. Many of the players have complained about time control, which is very understandable. I think I've already told the story of how I was a second for Pentala Harikrishna in the 2023 FIDE Grand Swiss. And already in the first round, he had a game which lasted more than 8 hours. And that was just extremely difficult to come back from. Also, he had a very disappointing draw there because he was winning. And after playing for 8 hours and then having a disappointing result, it's probably the worst you can have. I mean, at least if you play 4 or 5 hours, but if it's almost double that time, it's something completely different. And there were many players that had quite a few of those marathon games, which makes it extremely difficult to continue playing on this very high level. But overall, like, I was really shocked by the quality of the games overall. Like, we've seen so many games where both players basically played perfectly, and then it was just a draw, which for some of the fans might be a bit boring to see, but for me it's also pretty cool that players are simply so strong, and there have been also enough decisive games and many super cool attacking games. There was this brilliant sacrifice by Nihal against what was it, Aram Hakobian, I believe, and many others as well. So even if the time control is so long, some of the players probably won't like it, or even most of the players. But for me as a spectator, tuning in at 12 p.m. European time, I could watch the games for the whole day, and was just enjoying that. And in the evening, my seconding work once again began, which none of you have still guessed who I was helping with. I'm gonna give you a small tip. He did finish in the top 50 in the very end. But apart from that, that was my coverage from the FIDE Grand Swiss. It was a bit unfortunate that I wasn't able to record any more recaps, just because we were quite busy about the Austrian camp, which I am also going to make a separate video about and tell you a little bit about my routine there. But that was it for the coverage. I hope you enjoyed at least some of the recaps and these two sort of opinion videos on the tournament. I'm really looking forward to the next edition of the Grand Swiss. Maybe someday I'll be eligible to play there as well. But for now, I enjoyed the coverage of the event as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys soon.